This is Surya Saha and welcome to the Insurtech Story Podcast, the platform to spread knowledge on insurance innovation, digital disruptions and entrepreneurship. Our website, insurtechstory.com, and we are available on Spotify, Apple and Google. Today we are going to discuss on the topic how embedded insurance can close the coverage gap. And for now, I'm delighted to welcome our guest, Paul Prendergast, who is the CEO and co-founder of Kena Innovation. Paul is a serial entrepreneur and former winner of the Deloitte Fast 50 for the fastest growing technology company in Ireland. He co-founded Kena with Peter Birmingham in October 2021. Their previous venture, Blink, founded in 2016 and acquired by CPP Group in March 2017, delivered the world's first real-time resolution flight cancellation insurance product and was the only Insurtech as part of the first cohort of the FCA's Sandbox Safe Place to Innovate program. Paul led the company to make the Insurtech 100 for 2019 and 2020, an annual list of the world's most innovative Insurtech companies, and was selected for the fifth cohort of the prestigious Lloyd's Lab Innovation Accelerator program in 2020, focusing on parametric business interruption insurance solutions. So Paul, welcome on board and truly excited to have you for the show.
Hi Surya, thank you for the invite. Very excited to chat today.
Would you like to tell our audiences a bit about your organization, what's your focus, what you do, and how you came up with this idea?
Sure, absolutely. As you mentioned, myself and my co-founder Peter Birmingham, we've been working together, nearly 20 years now. This is our third Insurtech business together. Last was
Awesome.
Blink, and we went through Lloyd's Lab, and we built some very interesting small business parametric products. It was our first real kind of entree into small business insurance, and we could see lots of problems with small business insurance. So we had that in the back of our head going, that's an interesting sector that's tough to fix. So when we finished our earn-out with Blink, we decided this would be a big area to try to help solve small business insurance. So that was our real focus. That's where we started first, and then we looked at obviously massive trend in embedded insurance, and there's some really good companies. I suppose we would term it as embedded insurance 1.0, and they've done really good work on that. I think the next wave of embedded insurance 2.0 is going to be a little bit more sophisticated, and hopefully we're going to be one of those companies who are leading the charge in embedded insurance 2.0. And our focus is all about fixing small business insurance. And small business insurance it's just a massive issue.
Yeah.
You know, if you take the US market, just the US market on its own, 40% of small businesses have no insurance, and 75% of the rest are underinsured. And the frightening term that we hear all the time is that these companies, a lot of them are unknowingly underinsured. And that's pretty frightening. And we saw that in the petri dish that was COVID, where people thought they had the right insurance and they didn't have the right insurance, and they made a claim and they went out of business. And this happened time and time again. So we're quite passionate about nobody's trying to do anything wrong in the insurance ecosystem. To be honest, the key issue here that we identified is the underwriters and the insurance and even the brokers, they really don't know the businesses that they're insuring terribly well. You know, we know a ton of great brokers, and the brokers, because you don't make a huge amount of money out of small business insurance, it has to be transactional in nature. So you don't get to spend days and days with a small business to really understand that business. It has to be transactional because you don't make enough commission out of that policy sale. It's almost as simple as that. And you know, we know the regulators very well. The regulators are getting very exercised, saying you need to understand your business better, and they're putting a lot of overhead on insurers. And some insurers are coming away from small business because of that conduct risk, etc. And it all comes down to, and you talk to the insurers, and then we talk to the underwriters. And the underwriters, they're almost in this dark data room when they're looking at small business insurance. They really don't know who they're insuring. So then, as we all know, when the underwriters don't know something, they kind of almost assume the worst. And they then, their job is to protect their balance sheet. They do that well, but the outcome is you've got a small business insurance policy with lots of excesses, lots of exclusions, lots of terms and conditions, because they're kind of flying blind. So that's the problem that we're trying to solve. So it's a very focused on the small business sector. And we think the embedded insurance route and the way we're approaching it is a very novel, unique way of solving this problem, which is it's a win-win-win-win for both the small business, the software platforms that we're working with, and the insurance community, whether it be the brokers, the insurers, and the underwriters. So yeah, that's Kena. We're very, very excited. It's a pretty early stage company, but we've a ton of experience in building Insurtech businesses, and this is easily the most excited that we've been at this stage of any
Interesting.
business.
We normally have heard a lot on embedded insurance, primarily on a B2C kind of an environment. But
hmm
it's very interesting to see how embedded insurance can also, transform the B2B, as you said, these small businesses, and
hmm
how it can transform their probability to get insured. So I think that's going to be interesting to see how it works out. You know, uh,
Yes, it is. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, and it's as I said earlier, there's some really good companies in the small business space who've made the user experience better.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
having run small businesses for most of my life, small business entrepreneurs, survival is number one, getting customers in, getting revenue in, managing your staff. So you're super busy. You're doing a ton of different things.
yeah,
And insurance comes around once a year. You never give it the right amount of time. It's a form to fill out.
yeah,
Most the experience they have, an awful lot's through the broker channel. So the broker rings you up, and the question is, how is business over the last year? You probably can't remember what's happened last week. You're focused on today and survival. So it's very different, and you have to think about giving them all the information of what's going on, making, and it's all the responsibilities down to you as the entrepreneur, the business owner, to update your broker or your insurer. And there was really interesting information, even through COVID, where small businesses, BIBA, which is the big broker association in the UK, they did massive analysis on businesses that changed their business model fairly fundamentally through COVID. Perfect example is a sit-down restaurant becoming a delivery restaurant exclusively. Only 20% of those businesses updated their broker or their insurer. Even though their risk had changed dramatically, it never even comes on their radar to do that. Only 20%, 2 in 10. So 80% of those people that changed their business never told their broker. So they effectively got completely the wrong insurance. And that was a very interesting case study around COVID and people changing their business. So for us, every business we start with the data, the unique data. So our approach is quite different than lots of people. So we're exclusively focused on software platforms where there's unique data. We don't treat the software platform as a pure distribution channel. That to us is embedded insurance 1.0, where you've got, an extended warranty or a travel product or whatever it is. Here's the product now. I need a place to sell it. That's fine. But we work with platforms where there's really interesting data, and we take the data from that platform and bring it in. We built interesting tech so we can bring it in, flatten out the data, so then our insurers or our broker partners can access that data in a really efficient manner, and we can ensure that the small business owner gets the right insurance for them. And then over time, as their business changes, staffing levels, inventory, etc., the insurer then can say, oh, you can almost automate that midterm adjustment. And where the data is, how small businesses are running their businesses online is fundamentally changing. And this was the penny drop moment for us, myself
Yeah.
and Peter, when we were starting the business, is the days of small businesses using, a marketing piece of software, a finance piece of software, an inventory piece that's going, and it's being replaced by a thing called vertical SaaS platforms. So you've got a piece of software just 100% focused on gyms. Glowfox is an example of a gym software platform, fantastic Irish company. Then you've got others. Toast is just focused on restaurants. Clio is just focused on the legal industry. And they're really specific and really narrow, but very specialized. But what they do with our insurance hat on it, they give us incredibly rich data. We built insurance products, going into open banking. That's fine, but it's one abstraction layer too high. Whereas these operational platforms where these small businesses run every aspect of their business, whether it be acquiring customers, managing staff, managing inventory, getting payments, etc., etc. That's what we've optimized our technology to plug into these platforms. It takes them a day to plug into our tech, and then we make it super easy for really good insurers and brokers to offer product through their platforms, etc. So that's kind of, so it's quite a different
Yeah.
approach, and it's definitely the next generation of embedded, we would argue.
So, Paul, where do you see the missing opportunities when it comes to products, that customer wants, and with
Yeah.
respect to what embedded can deliver?
Yeah, so I think the big thing is, um, you know, you're providing the right insurance. It's right now, if you look at, I'll take the example of gym insurance. Right now, you go to most markets, there's one gym insurance product out there, and it's a one size fits all, regardless of the type of gym that you have. But the risk is completely different if you have a yoga studio compared to a CrossFit studio. So really, there's about 30 different types of gyms. It doesn't make sense for the broker channel to have 30 gym insurance products in the marketplace. It's just completely inefficient the way they sell and the way they're set up. Whereas you can do that through the vertical SaaS platform. You can provide the right cover for um, you know for the specific industry vertical. I think as well, um, talking to, again, tons of people in the sector, most people, they only take 4, 5, 6 data points and they can give a quote. Whereas in the vertical SaaS platforms, there's 200, 300 data points. And in time to come, we'll be able to start building completely new risk models for different types of business. So number one, you're making it super convenient for the small business. So they don't have to have that conversation once a year going, how is business? We already know how business is because we have all the data about that business, the turnover, staff, inventory, etc., etc. So that's super convenient. So they're able to say, they're able to buy the insurance through the software platform that they trust, and we have all the data to provide them an up-to-date insurance, accurate insurance product. So because the big issues are, underinsurance is just a massive, massive issue where they rush through a quick renewal form and they get all the data wrong and they're just trying to get it done in half an hour and get on to something else. That won't happen because the data on the platform is super accurate, high efficacy, up to date. So that's the key thing. In a lot of cases, you're almost taking existing products that are in the marketplace and you're just making sure that, and there's a modular element to that. You're able to make sure that you can identify the profile of that small business really well and make sure that they've got the right insurance. Yeah.
Interesting. In the overall, if you look at the embedded insurance as a concept, as we understand, the main aim is to offer insurance products through seamless digital customer journeys, compounded
Mhm.
with add-on to a third-party products or services, right? So
Mhm.
we have discussed on the innovation part and this distribution part, but how do you see this solving the KYC aspect of insurance, or rather the customer onboarding challenges in insurance?
So absolutely, and it's getting the right data. So again, I think I was reading recently the average small business policy, you have to fill out 87 questions,
Right.
and you have to, that's something that the small business owner really doesn't want to do. They have to do it, and they'll rush through it. Whereas by its very nature, the software platform where you're running all elements of your business, you have really deep, high quality information at your fingertips. So the history of that organization. The people who are working there. You've got very, very strong data about that business, which completely changes the whole. If somebody's coming cold to a website, you've no idea who they are. Whereas if you're partnering with a software platform and they've been running their business for 4 years on this platform, the restaurant, for example, that's a whole different level of comfort for the insurer, and they're able to get access to that data going back.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
so yeah,
Cool. Again, move, just a quick point to add here. The future of insurance, of course, is going to be embedded as we at least see it now. So,
hmm
but having said that, do you see insurance companies becoming a part of this ecosystem quite sooner than expected? How do you see them becoming a part of this embedded ecosystem? Because as we see, these technology companies or insurtech companies are
yes,
doing what
mm,
they can. But how do you see the incumbents insurers who are actually providing the insurance products, who
mm,
are capital intensive in nature? How do you see them getting into this ecosystem quickly?
yeah. And look, our model is a very collaborative model.
Right.
We're a technology infrastructure play. That's what Kena does. So we provide
Right.
that infrastructure between the software platform. We work with a number of large global brokers and a number of large insurers. Big insurers and big brokers are fantastic at what they do, and we certainly do not believe that they're going to be taken out of the channel. I think they've so much experience, and they understand the business, and they understand the history and their customer base. So we're trying to fit in where we think they're a little weaker. Their strengths are over here, as I mentioned.
Yeah.
Building fast, quick, nimble product integrations. That's something that we do very well. And we make it really easy for our insurance partners to go to market. As I mentioned earlier, I think that software partners that we've integrated with, it's sub 1 day's development to integrate with Kena. And the same with our insurance partners. You've got some fantastic underwriters or insurers who know certain lines of business very well, but they mightn't be very sophisticated in terms of building technology integrations, and they're catching up in terms of legacy, etc. And every single person has got 50 things to. We can, if they're very sophisticated, we can hook in with APIs. If they're not, we can do all that on our platform and just do a border report at the end of a month. So we're allowing them play in this innovative space, an innovative distribution channel. That's our job, is to enable our insurance partners try to do this without massive technical overheads.
Right.
So that's our job, is to be that infrastructure layer between the two parties.
Yeah. So what essentially we're talking out here is, for an embedded ecosystem to succeed, the first key thing is to look at robust partnership
Yeah.
among insurers and technology, companies,
Yeah.
rather the
Well,
insurtechs.
yes, 100%. When we started a long time ago doing Insurtech, everybody said that they're going to disrupt all the insurance companies and the underwriters and the brokers.
Yep.
Everybody has a part to play, and this is not a zero-sum game. I think we're completely focused on the customer. That 40% in the States that have no insurance, 75% that are underinsured. So there's a massive market opportunity to provide a better product, but using all the skills and experience of existing brokers, existing insurers, existing underwriters who really know the stuff, but they're literally living in this data dark room, and they
Yeah.
don't know who they're insuring and cost of distribution, etc. So that's our job, is that infrastructure layer between, say, the software provider who really wants to offer a better insurance experience to their customer.
True.
And the insurer and underwriters and brokers want to get access, but they simply don't have the technology infrastructure and of course they could build it, but they're busy keeping the show on the road, and they've got large organizations to keep going. So it's completely collaborative, would be our view.
Can you also touch upon some of the key stakeholders in an embedded insurance channel?
Well, we're very bullish about the broker channel. Because we work with software platforms across all different lines of business. That's our focus, is to do as many platform partnerships as possible. So it's very useful for us to work with brokers who work with lots of specialist carriers across the market. So we have solid partnerships with a number of very large global brokers. And then obviously, they bring the carriers to the table, and probably our favorite people are the underwriters, and the underwriters love getting really good quality data. And that's what we're providing. So they're very, very excited about it. This is something that will not be solved in 6 months or 3 months. This is a long-term project to get more data and and start understanding, all that additional high-quality data. The big question is, does it really matter? Can we build new risk models down the line and segment the market down the line? Which ones are going to impact the risk models? That in the next 12 to 24 months time will tell, but that'll be super interesting. Yeah. So each layer of the insurance stack is in our view very important, and this is not about taking the same business of other people. It's about growing the overall pie, by reducing that underinsurance, reducing that protection gap, which is absolutely massive, and really making a big impact, negative impact to small businesses across the globe.
Yeah, absolutely. When you talk about underwriting and data, the process is certainly not going to be a couple of months turnaround. It's going to be, a minimum of 12 months.
Minimum, our view is going to be longer, but that's fine. Yeah. We're in this for the long haul.
So but a fantastic initiative. I wish Hugh and Peter all the very best with your mission to transform insurance, and good luck to your team. And of course, thanks very much for your time. Fantastic discussion, and thank you for sharing your thoughts today. It was a truly delight to have you as our guest. And lastly, to wrap this up, thank you for listening, and see you at our next episode. Take care and stay safe. Goodbye for now.